Hi everyone, welcome to Cake It Timmy. Today we're making a special treat for Valentine's Day. Geometric strawberries and cream hot cocoa bombs. Filled with strawberry hot cocoa, mini marshmallows, freeze-dried strawberries, finished off with a pink and gold marble effect and surrounded with a sprinkle border. So let's get started. Here are the ingredients we'll need to make the hot cocoa bombs. First up are white chocolate chip baking chips as well as a few candy melts to brighten up the color. And in a separate bowl, I have some bright pink candy wafers to give a nice pink marbling effect. We will also need a nice flexible mini geometric heart mold with a self-leveling back. I have that linked in the description below. We're going to start by melting each of the chocolates in 30-second intervals in the microwave until they're silky and smooth and completely melted. Note that the white chocolate won't be as smooth and runny as the pink candy wafers, but it'll still be workable. Once you have both of the chocolates melted, take a small amount of the pink and add it to the center of the white chocolate, and with a fork gently mix so that there are pink ribbons within the white chocolate, but that everything doesn't turn a total pink color. Once you have that together, we're ready to make the heart shells. Add a small dollop of the chocolate to the center of your heart mold. I recommend doing 2 or so at a time and working very quickly, spreading the chocolate to the edges of the mold. I usually do this with a paintbrush, but I found that using a spoon worked just as well. Don't use the fork, however. If you find that you've used too much chocolate, be sure to just scoop it out with the back of a spoon. You can also give the entire mold a tap so that the chocolate evens itself out in the center. Note that this chocolate cools down really fast, so you're going to have to work quickly to get the rest of the cavities covered. It's okay if at this point you don't have the edges perfectly covered. You'll see we'll fix that after the hearts come out of this mold. You might find that there might be some thin spots of chocolate in the center of the heart, so you can go ahead and take a little bit of extra melted chocolate and cover it right up if you need to. Before we put them into the freezer, just take an offset spatula or the back of a knife and just scrape off the tops of those hearts so that they sit evenly when we take them out. Once that's done, we can just put them into the freezer for about 10 to 15 minutes until they completely harden. This is what they'll look like coming out of the freezer. They're going to be completely set and it's going to be very easy to take them out of the mold. If you're having trouble taking these things out of the mold, it's likely that the chocolate is not completely frozen. And you can see just how beautiful of a marble effect we're getting here. I wanted to achieve a pink marble look and this technique works so well. So once these are ready, just take them out and place them on a tray near you so that we can move on to the next step. Before we get started for the next step, we're going to need to microwave a ceramic plate so that it becomes really hot. Once you have that plate ready to go, you want to take 4 out of the 8 shells and press them against the really hot plate so that the edges of those hearts even out. You can see that there's some imperfections when I turn them to the side, but after I melt them down, the edges become nice and straight. Also, another thing to note is that all of the 4 hearts may not have come out looking the way that you would like. So you can essentially pick out the pieces you'd like to represent the bottom of the mold at this point and make them even first. Then we can move on to filling them. Because these are strawberry and cream hot cocoa bombs, I'm adding strawberry hot cocoa powder to fill them. I'm adding less than a tablespoon of powder to each mold. If you add any more, it's going to be hard to fill the rest of the fillings in here, so just be mindful of how much you're adding. For my other toppings, I'm adding some mini marshmallows. Then I'm also adding some freeze-dried strawberries that have been cut into little pieces. Now it's time to put them together. So again, we're going to take our hot plate that's been microwaved for a few minutes. Then we're going to take the top shells of the hearts, place them on the plate for a few seconds until they melt down, and then attach them to the bottom heart shell. Some key tips here are just to make sure that your plate is very hot, and you might have to microwave it several times just to make sure that the chocolate melts down properly every time. The other thing is that if you're seeing some holes in between the edges or they're not perfectly lining up, that's no problem. You'll see we will fix that issue in the next step. And like I said, it's okay if the edges aren't perfectly touching. We just need some areas to touch and hold just so that it holds its shape for the time being. Once you have those made, it's time to melt down a few additional candy wafers. I use bright pink, but really honestly you can use any color. Then once it's melted, just go ahead and add it to a piping bag that's made for candy coatings. Using a piping bag will allow us to have more control over where the melted chocolate is going on our hot cocoa bombs. Once it's in the bag, I just check the temperature of the candy coating. I'm making sure that it's not too hot so that it doesn't melt our way through the heart shape. So I usually just put it down on my tray or on my table until it is just ever so slightly warm. In the meantime, it's time to pour out any sprinkles that you'd like to attach to the side of these hot cocoa bombs. And once the chocolate is ready, you just want to cut the piping bag, pick up a hot cocoa bomb, and start piping the melted candy chocolate all around the seams of the heart. I recommend doing half the heart at a time so that the entire chocolate doesn't cool down before you have a chance to seal them with sprinkles. So you can see here I piped the candy coating all along the heart, and now I'm just dipping them in the sprinkles so that they attach to the melted chocolate. I'm going to repeat this step with each of my 4 hot cocoa bombs and then give them enough time to cool down so that everything hardens properly. You can put them in the freezer for another 10 minutes or leave them out to dry overnight. To finish them off, I'm just adding a little bit of gold leaf to the tops of these hot cocoa bombs. I'm using the gold transfer sheets, not the loose gold leaf. And all you have to do for this is take a sheet of edible gold leaf and press it onto the chocolate. What I find works best is that if you take a little bit and either warm it up underneath your finger or scratch it with your nail so that it adheres to the chocolate better. The other thing you can do is cut a little strip of the gold leaf so that it's just a little bit easier to handle. I just find that it's much easier for me to place the gold leaf onto the hearts when I have a smaller piece of the gold leaf. And this is how beautiful the gold leaf transfers on. I'm just adding a few flakes on basically each corner of the hot cocoa bomb. This just makes it look like a gold pink marble effect, and I just love the look of this. And this is the final look of the strawberries and cream Valentine's Day hot cocoa bombs. I just absolutely adore the pink and gold marble effect, and the sprinkle border on the side not only makes them so adorable, but also makes them easy to create. When it comes time to enjoy them, you know what to do. I like putting the steaming hot milk in my mug first and then dropping in my hot cocoa bomb just like I would with a bath bomb, and it's just so satisfying to see that thing dissolve in there and release the marshmallows. For me, that wasn't enough marshmallows, so I added some more a little bit later on. I can't wait for you to try these hot cocoa bombs for Valentine's Day this year, and if you do, please be sure to give us a shout out. And as always, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and comment below to let us know what you think, and I'll see you in the next video.